There we are.
All right. Well, let me welcome everyone to our live coverage of the NBA lottery tonight. That's getting going in about 10 minutes. John, do you kind of want to run us through what we're looking at tonight while I get our thumbnail uploaded?
Yeah. All right. I believe we got a new setup for the lottery this year, right? The percentages changed again.
I
Is
think
that?
a little bit.
I think it's the top three are all 25%, or maybe not that high. Maybe it's like 20. I think the top three picks they have a higher percentage of getting the one pick. Obviously, we know the past few years the lotteries have been kind of crazy. I mean, obviously the Pelicans winning the Zion lottery, kind of the craziest in most recent years, and then
Yeah.
what was last year? It's escaping me at the moment. Drew, who was the one pick last year again?
Minnesota
It
got
was
Anthony
Edwards, yeah,
last year.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
And that was a bit of an upset, I believe, as well. Not nearly as much as the Pelicans, who jumped from 11 to 1, I believe, or like 8 to 1.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting. This is good. This is a huge year. Cade Cunningham, perceived to be one of the biggest, definitely bigger, more hyped than Anthony Edwards. I would say
Yes,
as
for
hyped
sure.
as Zion for sure. One of the
Yes.
6'8", 6'9" point guard, very skilled, appears to be very, have a really good mental state, be very confident. Just listening to the dude, he sounds like an NBA All-Star. I
Yes.
would be very surprised if he wasn't a All NBA type player. So huge lottery tonight. You get a chance to get someone like that. I mean, can jumpstart a lot of teams. A lot of these teams in the lottery have been in the lottery the last few years.
Absolutely. And um, Cunningham is not the only prize in this draft. The top four doesn't really seem like you can miss, and it's pretty consensus. Mobley from USC, Jalen
Yeah.
Suggs of Gonzaga, obviously a PNW guy, and Jalen Green, who opted for the G League Ignite route and would be, I believe, the highest pick ever that went that route. Um, and there's a lot of really good depth. Obviously, as a Pacific Northwest centric podcast, we are looking especially at what's going to happen with Jalen Suggs from Gonzaga. Other guys, there's two other guys that could be picked in the lottery, and that's Corey Kispert, Suggs' teammate at Gonzaga, and Chris Duarte over at Oregon. Joel Ayayi at Gonzaga is also expected to be drafted later, probably in first round, early second round, as well as Philip Petrusev, former Gonzaga player, went overseas. He'll probably go in the second round.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
so we'll stay with you guys live. Feel free to add any questions you have in the chat or points or thoughts that you have. Houston has a chance. Let me real quick get something up on our social media, and then I will kind of break down some of the scenarios because there's some interesting protections that are in play here tonight. So I'll get to that very shortly.
Yes. It's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting. Finally, we'll have mock drafts that actually make sense. Obviously, until until the lottery happens, all the mock drafts are very tentative and can't really be super accurate. So it'll be interesting
Yes.
as the off season starts to ramp up. The lottery is the first step. That's the first step into the excitement of the off season. So um, it it'll be a good time. Um, It'd be interesting to see when some of these head coaching vacancies get filled, especially teams that are in the lottery, like who in the lottery? Orlando, Indiana.
Yeah.
Some of those teams. See if they want to draft the player first or hire the coach first.
Yeah. Here's some of the draft lottery implications tonight. So Houston has the best odds at the number one pick, but they are playing a little bit with fire. It's unlikely that they will be outside the top four, but if they are, that pick actually goes to Oklahoma City.
Tough.
And Houston will fall all the way to the 18. They'll take Miami's pick. So big implications tonight for Houston. Obviously, they're rooting to get the Cunningham prize at number one, but for sure they have to stay in the top four just to kind of get that player that they can build around. Um, Minnesota, this is the most interesting one to me. Minnesota keeps their pick if they are top three. However, it goes to Golden State if Minnesota is not top 3, which you would expect Golden State to have a lot of options there. They could take one of those top 4 guys or trade that, because there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to really covet those top 4 guys. Golden State has an unprotected first-round pick from Minnesota in 2022 if the pick does not go to Golden State this year. And then...
That's tough. Minnesota needs a pick. Same thing with Houston. If Houston falls outside the top 4, that's really bad for them because they really need that pick.
Yeah, and Golden State has their likely number 14 pick. It's very, very, very low odds that Golden State will not be 14. But the number 14 projected team almost always ends up with the 14 pick. There's like a 0.1%.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Jalen Rose is actually saying right now his favorite prospect is Jalen Green, who, I'll be honest, I just haven't watched much of. Obviously, he wasn't in college. He went the G League Ignite route. But he'll be interesting, too. The last implication for the lottery is Chicago keeps their pick if it's top 4, and otherwise it goes to Orlando. And Orlando has a protected top 3 pick from Chicago next year if it doesn't pass over this year. So Chicago and Orlando, 2 more teams that are hoping... Orlando's hoping that Chicago's pick actually falls. Or Orlando's hoping that Chicago's pick falls so that Orlando can get another lottery pick.
Yeah.
Chicago hoping for a top 4 pick, not just for one of those top 4 prizes, but also just to have a pick in general.
Yeah.
When you're a rebuilding team, you need that. Who are some guys we've touched on those top 4 guys, and for good reason. They seem to pretty clearly be the best players, but who are some other guys that are kind of in that lottery range that are intriguing to you and will maybe have a better idea of where they might end up this year?
Yes. Let me get the list up to refresh my brain, because I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Sure. And we are about 3 minutes away from the draft starting. If you see Kendall and myself, or John and myself, brain fart there, Kendall will join us for our podcast episode this week. I'll probably be going like this for a good chunk of it so I can hear the ESPN breakdown. And it'll be interesting to see what happens.
So
What do
yeah,
you think of
some of the interesting prospects. I think Davion Mitchell out of Baylor, very interesting.
Yeah.
He had a huge tournament. The dude looks really good. Keon Johnson out of Tennessee always interests me. I think just kind of a big dude that's able to get his own. Scotty Barnes is very interesting. This mock draft has Golden State picking him, and I mean, that would just add to their defense. He's such a good defender. Yeah. Same with, or not, very opposite with Moses Moody, another good scorer, projected to be right outside the lottery.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see, not just for the draft, but they're kind of talking about it on ESPN right now. And we've talked about it a little bit on our podcast in the past, is seeing how well, first, Jalen Green and Kuminga are both projected top 5. Kuminga's kind of a consensus top 5, maybe number 6 pick.
Yeah.
Both of them went the G League route, G League Ignite. It'll be really interesting to see how they do. Because, I mean, you're a top 5 pick. There's expectations that come with that. Top 5 players are expected to be really good, and they usually are, with the exceptions, and you remember the ones that weren't.
Yeah, that's true.
And this is a really highly touted class, and we're coming off a rookie class of 2020 that was not projected to be very good, and it turned out to be phenomenal. Incredible 2020 rookie class. So there's expectations, and it'll be interesting to see how that translates from guys that didn't play. Obviously, with COVID, no one really had fans. They didn't have the that normal college atmosphere, but Mobley and Cunningham and Suggs all had NCAA tournament experiences and had to play with pressure, especially Suggs in the Final Four, but also Cunningham being forced to kind of carry a team a little bit.
Yeah, no kidding.
And Mobley on a team that went a lot farther than expected.
And then obviously after the lottery, we'll get some basketball. We'll get some hoops then with Game 2 of the Suns and the Clippers of the Western Conference Finals with Mike Breen, Mark Jackson, and Jeff Van Gundy. But it's 5:30, so you would expect ESPN to be headed
what?
over the lottery soon.
I can't right now. Sorry.
Yeah, they'll come back after break, and I'll pull up ESPN's big board right now for players.
Yeah, a lot of really good names on there. Another one that I think is really interesting is Ao Dosunmu out of Illinois.
Yeah.
His stock, because of how bad Illinois did in the tournament, fell really far. This mock draft has him mid first round, but that dude, he has lottery potential for sure.
Yeah, another guy is Franz Wagner out of Michigan. He's projected in a lot of places to go top 10. And, he's a really good player, obviously, brother of Mo Wagner. And we're actually back at the lottery now, so I'm going to cut off my thought there. The draft lottery is beginning. I'm going to kind of stick over my headphone here as we get rolling into the lottery. So the three teams with the best chance of the number one pick are Houston, Detroit, and Orlando. They all have a 14% pick, so that's kind of the change that we were talking about earlier. So one of those teams is probably getting Cade Cunningham and then some combination of Mobley, Green, and Suggs to follow.
Yeah.
Whatever that goes. The team, whoever ends up number 4 is going to have, whoever ends up number 1 and number 4 are going to have the easiest picks of the draft, in my opinion. And ESPN's going over some of those implications that we just talked about with the Bulls losing their pick to the Magic unless it's top 4, Minnesota losing their pick to Golden State unless it's top 3, and Houston losing their pick to Oklahoma City if it's outside the top 4. Rachel Nichols talking to Woj right now because why would you not? That dude knows everything.
He is. This is a real question. Do you think there is a possibility he can make the Basketball Hall of Fame?
Woj?
Yeah.
That is a great question. I've never thought about that before.
I just popped in my brain right now, but it feels like he has to, right?
I don't even know if a journalist can.
I don't know, but it feels like he would have to.
It's amazing what he's done.
And just in how much he means for basketball culture too.
Yes. That'll be interesting. And don't discount the San Antonio Spurs have a 1.7% chance at the number 1 seed. So if ESPN does this like they did last year, they're going to reveal 5 through 14 first. So we're going to know who jumped into the top 4, but not know the final order yet.
That is
just
cool.
kind of create some drama and suspense. Golden State, the lowest odds, just 0.5%. They're likely to be the number 14. And obviously ESPN kind of dragging this out as they do. But we'll be watching tonight, obviously for the top 4, just as general NBA fans, but also watching for those PNW guys, meaning Suggs, Kisper, and Duarte, some potential landing spots for them tonight, as they're all guys. Suggs for sure in the lottery, Kisper and Duarte possibly in the lottery. Kind of depends on the mock draft that you look at, and they still have the combine ahead of them to get their work in. You can actually watch the NBA draft combine on Thursday from 3 to 7 Eastern on ESPN2, and on Friday from 3 to 7 Eastern on ESPNU. And the NBA draft is going to be July 29th. That is a Thursday. That'll be a lot of fun. Especially with so many PNW guys, you're not really used to that. It's a lot of fun. Which it takes a little bit away from the fact that Portland doesn't have a pick. Gives us a reason to watch it up here in the PNW. They're interviewing Anthony Edwards right now on ESPN. That guy sure turned out to be a good player.
He did. Yeah, I was pretty skeptical coming into the draft, to be honest. But he proved me wrong.
Nice.
That dude is a baller.
Absolutely. Another team with an outside chance at winning the lottery. Well, there's two. There's Oklahoma City and there's Cleveland.
Oof.
If Oklahoma's, who do you take if you're Cleveland? If you get into that top four?
Oh,
Mobley?
if you're in the top 4, yeah,
Yeah.
probably Mobley. But you've
Team first round picks, first rounders.
That's tough. That is tough. I probably Mobley. Oh, maybe Kuminga. But if you're top 4, I mean, I wouldn't take Kuminga, I guess.
Yeah.
That is tough. I don't know. I mean, probably Mobley if you can. But I mean, best.
Yeah. What if you're Cleveland and?
I mean, do you take Suggs
You get
and then
the number 4 pick.
I don't know.
I'm not sure you pass up Suggs. Just to
Yeah,
be
but
frank.
I guess you just have to trade Sexton or Garland. Sexton or Garland.
Yeah.
or both. I mean,
go
I've
insane strong, insanely small ball.
insanely small, and then play
Yeah.
Okoro at the 4 and Allen at the 5.
Right. The picks
Oh.
are 10 minutes away from being revealed, so ESPN is truly dragging this out.
We
Um,
as we expect from ESPN.
yes. So we'll probably just have to recycle some topics here. I know people are kind of popping in and out of the live stream anyway, so that's okay. What team, in your opinion, has the most to lose tonight?
I would say probably the Rockets. I mean, if they fall outside the top 4, I mean that is so bad for them because they really don't have much. They're not a desirable spot for a free agent, and they don't have really anything to trade for anyone. So if they can't get an impact player that way, then it's going to be another very rough season for them.
It will be. They'll have to bank for Chet Holmgren next year.
Yeah, 100%.
It'll be another rebuilding year. On the flip side of that, a team that has a lot to gain potentially tonight. Odds aren't completely in their favor, but there's still a chance. It's Golden State.
Oh,
Um,
gosh. Imagine if they
at
got
the
the
very-
1 seed with their pick.
At the very least, Golden State's going to have a lottery pick to pair with Clay coming back and Steph coming off an amazing season, and the development of Wiseman, who's a big man, and big men always take a couple years to develop anyway. And Wiseman's probably going to be a good player, especially with Draymond Green kind of in his ear a lot, kind of helping him grow. And in that respect,
Wow,
they could also get.
Sorry,
Go
this top 5 for Jay Billis's top 5 on ESPN. He has
Yeah.
Cunningham, Mobley, Suggs, Green, and Davion Mitchell, which might be a little bit of recency bias, but
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wonder what was the last college game Jay Billis watched. Davion Mitchell's pretty good. Almost every mock draft I've seen has Mitchell going to Toronto. Almost every single one.
jeez, pair him with Fred VanVleet. It's not bad.
Yeah, we'll see if Lowry comes back or not. I personally think Lowry's gone. but we'll
I
see.
would be surprised if he comes back, to be honest. I mean, I would imagine a contender probably wants to trade for him. Someone like the Lakers or Philly or Miami, someone like that. The usual suitors. Clippers,
There's
maybe.
also very slim chance that New Orleans has like a 5% chance of winning this tonight.
They have Zion and Cade. That'd be great.
That would be crazy. Davion Mitchell also getting some airtime at the combine right now.
All
Did you
right.
hear about Jared Butler?
No, what happened?
No, he had to go on that list where I forget what exactly the name of the list is, but like where you have a health condition and you're like you have to be taken out, and like the NBA has to clear him to like be healthy enough to play again, and they haven't disclosed specifics of it, not to my knowledge that I've seen. Maybe
Whoa.
someone alive, if you know more, can help me out there. But
That's crazy.
hopefully we don't see a. I mean, for Jared Butler's sake and just for the NBA's sake, he's a good player. But especially for his health's sake, hopefully he's
Yeah, we don't see
okay,
another like
and that means he can come back
Royce
to play.
White. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's very bizarre. No, did that happen today? When did that news break?
I saw that news today. Yeah.
Huh.
So
That
hopefully for his
sucks.
sake, he's healthy and can get to play in the league. He's a good player. We saw it at Baylor. He was.
Oh
phenomenal.
yeah, that dude's a baller. He's a stud. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that sucks. Dang.
You would assume after this commercial break they're going to start doing some things, but
Yeah, I saw them with the cards, so I would assume so. But they might just pull up some former player, talk about their top 5 also. So
yeah. And as we know, that tonight is Mark Tatum's time to shine, the deputy commissioner of the NBA.
absolutely.
Adam Silver runs the show. Outside of this season, he's been a pretty great commissioner. Maybe dropped the ball a little bit with allowing this many injuries this year, despite guys like LeBron saying, there's going to be a lot of injuries if the offseason's this short.
Yeah, and with next off season too, I mean it's gonna be the exact same thing.
Most teams are getting longer than we got from the bubble to, with the exception of the teams that weren't in the bubble and got almost a whole year. Very weird circumstances.
Yeah, and or teams like the Suns that only played bubble regular season, they still got
Yeah.
a pretty normal off season lengthwise.
Another team that has a 9% chance to win the lottery is Minnesota, who has a lot to gain from that.
Oh man, Cade, Edwards, and Cat.
Yeah, and Toronto, 7.5% chance. Not impossible to see the Raptors
Yeah,
jump up there.
Bulls with a 5% chance.
Yeah, that's unlikely, but
Yeah. But I mean, we all remember that one year the Cavs had a 1% chance and they got it. I mean, I think that was the
that when they
year.
went back to back and got
Right?
Kyrie and then
No, because
they got
I think that
Wiggins
was
and traded him
Yeah, I think they got Wiggins and traded him.
for Kevin Love.
Which
yeah,
really-
because they got
that worked-
That was
that worked
the
out for
LeBron
them.
return year.
Yeah. Charlotte could win the lottery, 1.8% chance.
Yeah, I will be right back before we get rolling, and then we can continue talking.
Yes, sir.
Talking draft lottery, and hopefully actually get to the draft lottery itself, and we can have some actual live reaction to the draft lottery, not live reaction to
Oh,
what Jalen Rose thinks.
to waiting, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, folks. It's allergy season is very bad here in Eastern Washington this year because it's been extremely dry and windy year. I don't remember the last day it rained, to be honest, outside of like a thunderstorm we had last week.
Yeah.
So wind and dryness has really contributed to a lot of pollen, and I take a lot of Claritin now.
I was dying at work today. I feel that.
Yeah. I'm glad that we now have a COVID vaccine to where we now know for sure it's allergies, not. I hope I don't actually have one of the most
Literally.
viral diseases of all time.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, you can actually like sneeze and not feel like scared.
Right. ESPN's back and they're promoting some of their top players, so I mean we'll see if we actually get to this. Oh, they're interviewing Davion Mitchell. Well,
All right.
we'll get there. We'll get there, folks. We'll all get there together. And it's funny because we're live, so we don't even know what they're saying.
Literally.
And those players can't really say much anyway, so
No, I mean they have no idea where they're gonna go. I mean they really
no.
they don't even know what's gonna happen when they get drafted. So like this really is
true.
not a helpful interview.
No. The picks will be revealed in under 3 minutes. So I guess we'll talk about our days or something. I don't know. We
Oh,
kind of covered it so
gosh.
far in this live,
I know, literally.
outside of the actual lottery itself.
Kings.
I went to work today for 8 hours after going down to Sun River, Oregon for a nice little vacation.
How was Sun River?
Oh, it was awesome. The resort opened up for the first time this since COVID.
Oh wow.
And so we had to reserve our tickets, and my grandma got 8 and I got 2. No one else in the family got any, so we had to divide up who could go and who couldn't. So 10 of us went, and it was a good time. They made the slides a little faster, so that was good, because I remember going in high school and they were okay, but not super fast, and this time they were a lot more fast.
That's cool.
That just hung out in the pool for the most part. It got pretty busy, even with the reservation and restrictions, because it was really hot down there. But
That makes sense.
yeah, back to the stables, hung out with the fam, got a bunch of ice cream at the shop. Yeah, it was a good time.
Not bad. That sounds fun.
Yeah. And then I just worked for 8 hours.
Yes, sir. I had a short day. I worked 5 hours. It was an easy
that's
day,
nice.
though. Not too bad. We weren't very busy.
Is that just 11 to 4 for you?
Yeah. Not bad. And tomorrow I work 5:30 to 12, which is pretty easy. Nice little morning shift.
Oh, 5:30 a.m.?
Yeah.
Nice. And then you have the whole rest of the day, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah, and I have the next day off, too. So it's almost like having a day and a half off.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. That's what I love to see.
Yeah. And now Rachel Nichols is talking
Interviewing
to Evan
Evan
Mobley
Mobley.
again
All right.
for the second time, if you haven't noticed.
Are they all in the same court? Like, just at different, like...
That's at the Combine. Yeah, that's
quarters?
the Combine.
Oh, gotcha,
Unless
gotcha.
the NBA draft, well, maybe the Combine is in different locations. I actually don't know that for sure off the top of my head. You can actually see a player warming up in the background. I
Yeah.
can't really tell who that is.
Can't either. Kind of looks like the Charlotte court, to be honest, with the coloring.
It does. I believe the Combine is all in Chicago, but I don't.
I believe so. I believe so. I'm not
don't
entirely
know that
sure.
for sure.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I never follow the NBA Combine.
I will watch it this year because we now have a basketball podcast.
Yeah, I probably will too. When is it again?
Thursday, I think at noon Pacific time.
Oh, nice. That's my day off.
Which
Yeah.
I believe I work remotely that day, so
Oh,
I'll probably have it on in the
perfect.
background.
Yeah, I'll probably just throw it on while I'm on my phone or something.
Absolutely.
Oh, let's see
Are we
who's.
actually gonna
Let's
get
see
to some
who's.
picks?
Ben Wallace is the Pistons person.
There we go.
Nazi
Yeah,
Mohammed
Naz
is
Mohammed. That is a throwback.
incredible.
Oh man. Here we go. Mark Tatum time.
All right, let's go, Mark.
Here we roll. I'll turn this up if you can hear Mark Tatum in the background. I apologize to our listener. Mark Tatum says good luck. And 14 goes to Golden State, as you would
Alright.
expect. And so, not really much of a surprise there. Golden State had the lowest chance to win it, and they ended up in 14. That's what usually happens. Usually it goes
alright.
chalk through these first few.
I'm ahead of you by a bit.
Are you?
Yeah.
Indiana at 13.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you are ahead of me.
Yeah, I'm about like 5 to 6 seconds ahead of you. Because I just saw 12.
Probably ahead. Yeah, there you go. San Antonio.
Sounds that makes sense.
Believe it's all chalk so far, I think.
So far, yeah. All right, we just got
Okay, I just-
11. We got Charlotte. Okay.
Yep, I just skipped ahead. And there's 10.
There we go.
New
Oh, no.
Orleans gets
All right.
10.
New Orleans gets 10. Okay.
I think 11. New Orleans gets. Yes,
No, 10.
Charlotte gets 11. New
Yeah,
Orleans
New
gets
Orleans
10.
gets 10,
Yes, that's confusing.
Kings get 9.
The Kings get 9.
Okay.
Is this chalk so far? I think it is.
Pretty much, yeah.
Orlando from Chicago.
Ooh, R.I.P. Chicago.
Chicago does not get their first round pick. That's big time.
Tough. Tough.
And there is Golden State gets Minnesota's pick. Minnesota does
Wow.
not get in the top 3, and that means Toronto has jumped into the top 4.
Oh,
So Toronto is
man.
getting a very good
Oh, look,
player.
Drake's
And
there
Gol-
for Toronto.
And Golden State now has 2 lottery picks. OKC gets 6.
All right.
So OKC does miss out on, and that jumps Cleveland to the top 4.
Oh
So
my
Cleveland-
gosh. Does Cleveland get another LeBron James type?
This is the last pick of the not top 4, and that one does go to Orlando. So that leaves Houston and Detroit.
So Houston's a big winner because they get to keep a first round
Houston
pick.
is a big winner because they picked their pick. Yes.
Toronto a big winner
And
as well.
Toronto is a huge winner.
Minnesota big, obviously a huge loser with Golden State falling
That's
all
a
the way to
huge- and Chicago,
7.
too.
That sucks for them.
Yes.
Yeah, and Chicago, that's big too.
Yeah. And now Toronto is good. Toronto's
Toronto's going to get a really good player.
They just get best player available.
Yeah, any of them is great for them.
Yeah.
Same with Detroit. They're going to pick best player
Yes.
available as well.
Yes.
I think it would be cool to see Suggs and Jeremy Grant work together with Bay and Isaiah Stewart. Be a pretty fun
Yeah.
team. Could see it.
That would be cool. I think if he's there, I think Detroit takes Mobley. Unless they get number 1, then obviously they'll take Cunningham.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. If Mobley's available, probably.
Yeah.
No bad picks, though. I mean, I would assume they all seem to be
No,
pretty
and
good.
we'll be back after commercial to
See the top 4.
see those top 4. And yeah, like you mentioned, Toronto and Cleveland, huge winners. Chicago and Minnesota, huge losers.
Yeah.
And also, Golden State's a winner because now they have 2 lottery picks. They can play with that.
Oh, yeah.
Number 7. I mean, there's that Scotty Barnes for you.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. Man, and him and Draymond Green pairing in the front court, I mean, that's really good defensively.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is an awesome core for Golden State. If they keep, which I would actually not expect them to do, I actually expect them to look to trade.
Probably both of them, to
still-
be honest.
Steph, Clay, Barnes, Wiseman, and Draymond, not bad at all.
They got a
Not
lot of
too
options
shabby.
there.
And a shooter off the bench. I mean, someone like Kispert if he's still there.
Jeez.
James Bouknight from UConn.
Bo Knight would be interesting.
Uh,
They need a ball creation off the bench. I mean,
Yeah.
they're going to be really good next year regardless. Because, I mean, they're going to have Pascal and Poole back who have a lot of development. Damian Lee's not bad. Toscano Anderson's not bad.
Yeah.
Having Clay back, if they keep Wiggins, if they are able to
Yeah,
keep
true.
Oubre, if they keep or trade Wiseman, they got 2 lottery picks. I mean, the Warriors are probably going to have a very busy offseason in the trade market. I mean, expect them to be very
Yes.
good. They got a chance to get someone like Beal with how much they have.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my goodness.
Which just makes the offseason that much more important for Portland. Again, here we are in the PNW.
Yeah. No
Golden
kidding.
State's going to be another team that if Portland's not careful, it's just going to pass them back up.
Yep.
A team like New Orleans, you never know, could make a jump. Or whatever team Chris Paul goes to if he leaves Phoenix.
I would imagine. I guess it really depends on what happens. I would imagine he stays, but he seems
Unless
to
he
enjoy
and
it
LeBron
there.
decide to team up.
Oh man, that would be crazy.
That would be
I've heard they're looking into Melo too, so I wonder if they could pull D Wade out of retirement, get the banana boat squad.
D Wade would do it. Well, can D Wade owns the Jazz now.
Yeah, I don't think he could.
So I doubt he
I
could
don't
do it.
think he would
He'd
be
probably
allowed
just sell
to.
a share.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he was allowed to playing on a team, like playing against the Jazz against a team he
In the
owns,
playoffs,
a team he part owns in the playoffs?
and then he owns them.
Yes. That would be crazy. It's also, I mean, I'm surprised he bought the Jazz of all teams. Like, I mean, maybe they were just the only option and just wanted to kind of get
I think it's because of Donovan
his
Mitchell.
business rolling.
Maybe,
Yeah, they seem to have a really good relationship.
I believe it's because of Mitchell. It's very odd. Not a lot of NBA players like the Jazz as an organization, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it is a weird location, kind of similar to Portland. Like, there's nothing really around. Salt Lake itself is beautiful, but winters are horrible.
Yeah.
And there's not, like, really a nightlife in Salt Lake. As much as
No,
some other cities.
there's not. It's a much quieter living.
But and we're back in the lottery, so we'll see. We'll see who wins the Cunningham sweepstakes. We'll talk a little bit about where we think Jalen Suggs could go, Spurt and Duarte later on, and we'll sign off for the lottery. But you can subscribe here, please do.
We talk all the Pacific Northwest, and we're branching out into a lot of NBA. We post what we call starter spurts 2 or 3 times a week, to where you can see us on talk 10, 15 minutes about a subject. We also do full-length podcast episodes that you can find here and on Spotify. And these live coverages too. We'll be doing this, I'm sure, during the NBA draft, and it'll be much longer
yeah.
and more casual.
Yes, sir.
We're actually recording a new podcast episode tonight.
Yes, sir.
And you guys will see who that is, and we'll release it soon. That'll be a lot of fun. You can check us out. We recently had Corey Kispert, lottery pick. We had him on. Go check that episode out. We've had Jared Lucas from Oregon State on. Casey Benson, formerly of Oregon, corresponds for us a little bit. We've had reporters on. We've had coaches on. We've had a lot of stuff. You can go check it out.
Yeah. Shante Leggins, UP's head coach.
Yep. And
All
we're
right.
about to find out
Here
now
we go.
who the top 4 lines up as: Olajuwon Wallace, Kobe Altman, and Van Fleet.
Oh, right.
So
We have the first one, Toronto at 4.
Okay. Somehow I'm behind again. But yeah, there you go.
Oh, and
Toronto at 4. So
3 picks announced, and it's Cleveland.
okay. So they hold Chuck. So Cleveland.
Oh, my goodness. Houston with the 2 pick, and so Detroit Pistons
Detroit.
get the 1 pick and win the Cade
My
sweepstakes.
goodness.
They're going to get to pair
Cade
Cade Cunningham with Jeremy Grant and Isaiah Stewart, Sadiq Bey, and others. Obviously, former Blazer Mason Plumlee.
And that'll be the quickest
big
draft
win.
pick in quite some time.
Of course.
Now 2 through 4. That is mightily interesting.
You got to think, I mean, Houston has their big setup. You got to think they go either Green or Suggs, right?
I think because Cleveland is 3, I think Suggs is 2 or 4 now.
Yes, I agree. I would agree.
Because
I would say
is
Cleveland's gonna
either
take
Jalen
Mobley.
Green or Mobley.
Yeah.
Cleveland's taking Mobley or Green.
Yeah, I would say
Because
so.
they don't need a guard as much as they need an athletic big or a wing.
Yeah.
Or a scorer like Jalen Green. They have Sexton and Garland, obviously. So Jalen Suggs is likely to either be in Houston or Toronto next year.
Both really good situations for him.
Yeah.
Get to play with a
Awesome.
young developing big, young teams.
Yeah, so this really helps set it up, and Toronto will just take the best player left. Because of this, I actually expect, if I was a betting man, I would actually... Oh gosh, that's interesting. Houston honestly might really consider Suggs.
I actually think Houston's going to take Suggs. I think that
they
picks,
have...
because he's a point guard, and that makes the most sense for them. Because, I mean, a Suggs and Christian Wood pairing would be fun with Kevin Porter Jr. at the 2.
Yeah.
I mean,
And John Wall as a very comparable player to Suggs that can mentor.
yeah. And
I
then
think
you have
that could be
Jayshawn
potentially
Tate at the 3,
Awesome.
Christian Wood at the 5, and then Kelly Olynyk probably slotting at the 4
Yeah.
still. I mean, that's a fun team right there.
In which case, I would expect Cleveland to probably take Evan Mobley. If
And then
Houston doesn't.
and then Green going to Toronto to play the 2. They probably move
Awesome.
Van Vliet to the
Awesome
1.
pick.
So that's kind of
All
jogging
very
my
good picks.
top
That's
4 vibes so far.
so far that
is,
I would bet on that.
We're guessing Cunningham, Suggs, Mobley, Green.
Huge win for Detroit. I think they get to finally change their culture
Huge
around
win.
to winning. I think
They have a franchise player. They have not had a franchise player in a long time. They
No,
had Drummond
they
and
haven't.
Griffin, who were solid stars.
they weren't franchise players though.
But they were not franchise players. They have a guy that can get Detroit excited, and Detroit has not been excited about basketball since Chauncey
No.
Billups and Rasheed Wallace were there.
I mean, I've been following Cade for a couple of years now, and not to put huge expectations on his shoulders, not to make an insane take, but I think the dude has Hall of Fame potential. I mean, you listen to
so
the dude talk, and that dude is a winner. That dude knows how to play basketball, and he knows how to make his teammates better. I mean,
Yes.
I think when he speaks, he sounds a lot like LeBron James to me. I mean, I think that's just a huge win for Detroit.
I think so too. And I think, talking about winners, I think Suggs is the second best player in this draft. Obviously, I'm biased being from PNW and following Gonzaga quite a bit. And I think Orlando's pretty locked into getting Kuminga, which is an awesome pickup for them.
They need a scoring wing.
They need a bucket.
Yeah.
They need a bucket.
That's perfect for them. Honestly, this lottery has worked out really well for all the teams that got top 5 picks. They all seem to be in positions to get a dude that would really help them.
Yes. Now talking a little bit about moving into the PNW side of things. Now we've talked about Suggs. Obviously, we think he's going to end up in either Houston or Toronto. I think that's a pretty safe bet because we don't think Cleveland would take him.
I would be pretty surprised unless they trade one of the guards. Unless they really actually want to trade one of the guards.
It's true. I would still expect Cleveland to want either the athletic big in Mobley or the scorer in Green.
Or maybe Kuminga at 3.
Is a better player.
Maybe they shock people, go Kuminga.
That would be very surprising to me. I think the top 4 is pretty set, but you never know.
I do too.
What about Kispert and Duarte, who were some teams, obviously kind of went pretty chalk in that back half until Toronto jumped.
I mean,
so who are some guys you see for them?
I would say watch out for Kispert at 14 to Golden State. It just makes sense. He is just an insane shooter, and I mean, Golden State loves to load it with shooters.
They do.
That would be very, very scary. I am pulling up the list because I instantly forgot what it was.
I think New Orleans at 10 is a very possible landing spot. Sacramento at 9 is not impossible. I don't think that's the best fit for him, although you can always use a shooter. I think,
yeah. There it is.
I think anywhere 10 to 14 is possible.
Spurs too. Spurs don't have a ton of shooting.
Yeah, I think Spurs is a really viable option there.
Duarte, I mean...
I think a team like Golden State...
Oh, go for it, sorry.
I was just going to say Indiana's another possible spot for Kispert and Duarte, too. I was going to bring Duarte to Indiana.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, I think that's possible. They need a bucket getter. They're kind of interesting. They have a really good roster, but, like, it's not that interesting, and it's not, like... It doesn't feel like a playoff team, but like it's not a bad roster.
Charlotte's another team that could utilize Kispert or Duarte. Really, Kispert I think could go anywhere 9 to, like, 9 on.
Yeah.
None of those teams would surprise me, and Duarte same. I'd be surprised if Duarte went higher than maybe 12.
I would too.
But there's a fit for Duarte in San Antonio, Indiana, Golden State, Washington, all those teams.
Yeah, San Antonio needs someone that can go get their own bucket. They do not. I mean, especially if they lose DeRozan, they will not have that guy.
No, they won't. And San Antonio would expect to go into a rebuild. You don't really know how long they're going to have Popovich.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens if Becky Hammon gets hired somewhere else, or if she's kind of the successor in San Antonio. That's still very much to be determined, with Portland being a very possible landing spot from her, from what it's sounding like.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much to everyone who tuned in to this live lottery. You can expect more lives in the future, including an NBA draft one for sure. And I'm sure we'll hop on here when the Blazers hire a coach for either a starter spurt or a live. Any trade, the start of free agency will for sure be on here. Free agency is like Christmas for NBA fans.
Oh,
the start of free agency
the first
is just
day?
insane.
You mean for us West Coast people, 9 p.m. the day before free agency starts?
Yes, exactly right. You are exactly right on that. Well, you can subscribe to us here on YouTube at Ball Starters, where we'll do starter spurts, 10 to 15-minute videos about basketball topics with a main focus on PNW. Here you can also get live reactions like these and full podcast episodes, which you can also find on Spotify at Ball Starters, to keep up to date on what we're doing minute by minute. Follow us on social media at Ball Starters. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Thanks to everyone again who tuned in. Have a great night, and we'll see you soon. And for sure for the NBA draft, be sure to tune in for that.